Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome, welcome. I don't see any guests. Not really. Okay. So, Rabbi Isai, a quick update on the yeshiva. This is unbelievable. The email address here is not the right one, I was just told. Nevertheless, Givaldig Hatzlacha. Yesterday, over 20 applications. You hear what's going on here? 20. We're closing down. Today we received our first donation, unsolicited, $2,500 from Dov Eisenberger from Englewood. Yishkoyach Reb Dov. That we're not going to cash it. We're going to put it on the back of the dollar bill in the store. The first $2,500. We also received maybe 5 or 6 people asking if they could be rabbeim in the yeshiva, and my chavrusa Rabbi Yedidia's cousin or something is a psychologist. He wants to know if he could be the psychologist in the yeshiva. Bekitzer, it's heating up. There's discussions, serious discussions about donation of the building, which is very, very exciting. And then somebody sent me a meme. It was a picture of him and Fischel, and it says, "Together we donated $1 million to MDY." he was 999,000, and he was $1. But Fischel writes, I didn't ask him. He writes to me one message: "I'm in," whatever that means. So yishkoyach. Any other information? Oh, so we need the real email. So all those people that sent your application to the wrong email, I'm sorry, we don't have room anymore. You should have known better and sent it directly to MDY. Anyways, what is it? info@mdyeshiva.com, not at Gmail or any of this stuff.
Or mdyeshiva.com website.
Oh, mdyeshiva.com website. Anyways, hopefully the editor will put it on the screen and you'll know what to do. Now, Rabbi Isai, I don't know if you noticed, in this week's Ami magazine and Mishpacha magazine, there's a 6-page advertisement for Eretz HaKodesh. Now, I'm going to explain to you, it's a complicated topic, and I'm going to do the best I can. I don't know everything. I'm going to try to explain it the best I know. There's an organization that exists before the establishment of the Medina, which is called the World Zionist Organization. 1897. So when they established the state of Israel, they let them exist. So they still exist today. They make a lot of money. They make about $2 billion a year by selling property in Eretz Yisrael. I think that's one of their ways. It's called kakal. Anybody that ever purchased a brand new property in Israel, there's something called kakal. They get a cut. Their income is $2 billion a year. Some firm guy realized that money goes directly to the Reform and the Conservatives, and they use that money to fight anything religious, everything. So the women of the Kotel, you can't daven in the streets. Let's take away the food and the ganim and the anything religious. That they have a tremendous pot of $2 billion a year. So he established this organization called Eretz HaKodesh. Now what happens is every 5 years there's a vote to get into this. They did very well last time, and they got 25,000 votes, and therefore they were able to take money from this $2 billion and distribute to the Mir Yeshiva, to different seminaries. In fact, Noam Fix's seminary got it free. They walked over, they gave him a check. Can I say the amount? Better not. A large amount. A large amount. What? Karen Hashvius. All these, it's basically to funnel money. At the time, Reb Chaim Kanievsky said it's a mitzvah to take. Reb Gershon Edelstein. The Gdolim that we went to now all told us you have to grab it. It's a mitzvah. It's like it's money there. Now, there are Rabbanim that are very anti-Zionist, like the Satmar, and there's a Rabbanim, there's a Rashiva in Lakewood, against it because, it's a Zionist. Today, is when the voting starts. And you probably heard a lot about it. It's in a 6-page article here. And look it up in the Mishpacha or Ami. Both of them have it here this week. I have both of them here. They're both 6 pages. You could go online, do a little bit more research. The point is that the G'dolei Hadar, the ones that you're familiar with, that are online, and the shiurim, this, they told us personally, we went to ask them, I asked personally, send shlichim, Noam, all different, grab as much as you can. So, today is when the vote starts. It goes on for a number of days, and there are, because they're like the Nachshon, they jumped in there, Eretz HaKodesh, the first ones last time, 5 years ago. There are other organizations as well now. There's Kfir organizations, a different one, a yeshiva opened up themselves. The Mir, I believe, is still, the Mir is pushing, they wanted to push, it's a whole thing. Okay, the Mir received a lot of money from them. So, here's the thing. If you are voting, if you believe you should vote, your Rav says it's a great idea, then I'm asking as a favor to MDY that you vote for Eretz HaKodesh, but you vote through MDY, at least send us a screenshot of something so we could get credit for your Eretz HaKodesh vote. You'll go online over there. Here, let me show you how it looks real quickly. You can do it now, by the way. We'll sing a song or something so that you could do the QR code. I'll take you to a landing page, and then you go into the Eretz HaKodesh site. And it takes about 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. Here's the thing. Try it right now. Try it, Rabbi Side. Try it right now. If you... Oh, no. Oh, you have to have an address in America. You have to have an address in America. If you're watching now in America, check this out. Check it out. I checked it out. It's very nice. Avremi was up the whole night doing this. Literally the whole night doing the landing page, the whole thing.
Only in America or in Chutzpah?
Right now they're doing it only in America. Then they're going to do England, I think, in a week. America has 33% of all that $2 billion. They have the say where that money goes. The Reform and the Conservative are pushing. I'll show you a video tomorrow how they're saying you have to vote because otherwise those disgusting religious people are going to get it. And you know you don't want them to have the money. And they're really, really fighting for it. So a lot of Rosh Hashivas, Rabbanim, the G'dolei Hadar say you got to do it. Yes, you ask your local rabbi. So if you vote Eretz HaKodesh and they know that it came from us, go through our page, we will benefit tremendously in terms of resources, in terms of financial support. Crazy. It costs $5 to vote.
Very simple. Took less than a minute.
You just did it? Less than a minute. You have an address in America, right? Okay. Yishkoyach. It takes less than a minute. 1 minute. You got the way it goes. You vote. You just put your address, your name, and then they send you a code to your email. You take that code from the email, you copy, put it into their website. Do me a favor, Rabbi Ariel, take a screenshot of that and send it to me. You have to send it to MDY so we keep track that you did it through us. And Be'ezer Hashem, we could get as much money as Noam got, maybe more. Who knows? It's like a freebie. You're helping by taking away. What do? They build shuls, reform. I'm not going to call it a shul. They build reform synagogues. They're anti-temples. They're anti, and they have $2 billion to play with. Why not help the Kfirim? You don't have to donate money to the Mir Yeshiva anymore. This could take care of millions of dollars a year for religious mitzvahs, for ganim, for Keren HaShvius, as he's saying. All these things. It's a mitzvah. Okay, I'm not getting involved. Ask your local rabbi. But there's sides. Okay, if you're anti-Tzioni and you're Satmar, do not do that. Okay, I'm not telling you what to do. I didn't see any G'dolim. I personally didn't see a letter from a Gadol that came out against. I heard that there was a Gadol here, there, Rav. I heard. Ani, with my own eyes, didn't see. So, do me a favor, do this. Also, your wife can vote. Your children can vote. And if people don't have jobs and they want, ask Mark Ashkenazi, we have incentives for people that bring 50 votes or whatever. There are people that are flying to America now for other organizations. If you're into it and you want to help MDY, it could be a tremendous, tremendous help for MDY by voting Eretz HaKodesh. Thank you. What? I don't know how it works here in Israel. It's a good question. When do the Israelis vote? Or they don't vote. Maybe it's just Israelis. Oh, if you vote for the Knesset, that's your vote. You can't vote for there. It's only for Chutz La'aretz, and they're going to do South Africa. They're going to do this. It's a whole thing.
30% is for U.S., 39% is for everywhere else in the world.
All right. Shkoyach. You have you're going to hear from yeshiva guys calling you, please vote for our yeshiva, please vote this. But if you benefit from MDY, you get the share every day, please take out of your time 2 minutes and get that vote in. Let's see, we're going to count, we'll see. If it's 100 votes, it's going to be a big bazayan.
You haven't seen the website yet.
What?
It's for Americans, it's not for Israelis.
Yeah, I said. You have
You have to have a U.S. address.
In the United States.
You have to have an address in America. Yeah.
Primary residence.
I got it.
For the Knesset and for the
Yeah. I'm talking to the Oilam in America, the 25,000 people that see it in America. Oh, here, this is the MDY Yeshiva. Yishkoyach. Wow, it's already 7:27. Okay, so let's do the sponsors real quick. Sorry, got at it. That was longer than the Yeshiva announcement. The Masechta sponsors lirfo shleima Shmuel Ben Chana, Ettel, and Yosef Chaim Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama by their grateful family should have a lirfo shleima by anonymous Hatzlacha, ברוחניות, ובגשמיות. In memory of Yechiel, by Larry Cohn, in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, yet who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70. Anonymous for the unity of the Jewish people. Glenn Esterson, with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. The monthly sponsors: Eli Stefansky Ben Moshe, Eli Stefansky Bas Yosef, Binyomin Rosenfeld, Hatzlacha Parnasa, Yosef Ben Chaya Sara, Hatzlacha, Boruknis of Begashmius. Eli Stefansky, the fallen hostages, Ariel Ben Shiri, Kfir Ben Shiri, Shiri by Margit. You know, I'm thinking to myself now, there's always that person, a lot of us, I don't know what it is, a lot of us just like, oh, that's interesting, yeah. Let that other guy sign up. Let that other guy. Who was the one that jumped up here in the shir and tried it out and put it on his phone? Think about it. Who was it? Rabbi Einhorn. Who's the one that brings breakfast every day? Who's the one that's a ice? He gets up and he does. Seriously. It's a personality. We could all be that person. We choose. Interesting. Nice. It's taka, a very bad thing that they take $2 billion and they do against Yidden. I wish I could fight it. Yeah, when I get home, I'll do it when I get home. I'll do it tomorrow. No. You get on your phone now and you do it and you help MDY. Why not? At the end of the day, we're going to have one guy, Einhorn. You got one vote. Shkoyach. And they're going to say, well, your primary residence wasn't in Israel. It is. I have 3 houses in Israel. I just moved there. Okay, whatever. Okay. Zuck the Heilige sponsorships. It just occurred to me. He's the guy. He runs out, gets breakfast for everybody. He's the guy that everybody comes to Tainus. How come you didn't buy breakfast today? How come you didn't vote for me? Vote yourself. Leaders the fallen hostages. You'll see. There's something for the OU. Do you gain as much from the OU as MDY? What are you going to vote? Think about it. Ariel Ben Shiri, Kfir Ben Shiri, Shiri Bat Margit. Parnassah Berevach, Baruch Tzvi, Nissim Ben Shoshana Leah. Koil sponsors, Yaakov Ben Saru, Mishpachti Lebrocha Hatzlacha. HYK is removed from here. A boy site's removed. It's gone. What happened? Hillel, I love you, man. No pressure. Hatzlacha, weekly sponsors, Hatzlacha and audit and taxis. We gave you 1 day free. It's fine. It's mamish moichel. I'll do another one for you. Rabbi Isai sponsored the Schos Hillel and his HYK. I'm sponsoring today's koil for him. Happy birthday, Ami. We love you and are so proud of how you made learning a priority. Can't wait to fill the bookshelves. Ami, happy birthday. Pesach G, lirfo shleima for Zakan Rosh Yeshiva, Rav Shmuel Ben Ettel Kamenetsky, another yeshiva that gave okay, I'm not going to mention names, but you get it. Anonymous from Lakewood. Thank you to Rabbi Eli and his wife for hosting my niece Fagi for Shabbos. Okay, I was supposed to give a shout out to this anonymous from Lakewood. Yishkoyach. Yishkoyach for the phone call last night. He called up thanking me for announcing about the yeshiva, Bechulu. Art of the month. Refuah Shleima, Yehonatan Eitam Ben Basheva Bracha for Schus for Belly and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah still enjoy so many. In honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do, many hours every day. I was on the phone with both of them till after 1 o'clock in the morning. This is the Eretz HaKodesh. This is what you do.
Yesterday's turning of the day.
If you go onto that thing, you'll see it says over here, vote on Eretz HaKodesh. Oh, it is number 11 on there's like parties. The 11th party is Eretz HaKodesh. Please put your vote for Eretz HaKodesh. Remember, take a screenshot, send it to us. There's numbers over there where to send it. It says over here where to send it. You can do it through email or WhatsApp or Daf Barama, whatever you want. Anyway, will be very much greatly appreciated. Rabbi Sai, what?
Carry pictures, whatever.
Anything. Shkoyach.
Children vote.
No, you have to be 18. 18. So if you're a father and you have children at home, you can vote for them. You can't vote for them. You have to help them out, and they have to have their own email address. But you're allowed to use one credit card for five people per household. Anyway.
So if you have a yeshiva learning in America, but he's an American, that's okay.
I think so. That should be okay. Yeah. Where's his main residence? Where's his main residence? So. Zok the Gemara, we're holding Daf Beis, Amud Beis, Cohn Sheshimish Betuma. A Cohn who performed the Avodah. We have an interesting daf today. We're going to talk a lot about the Beis Hamikdash and different things in the Beis Hamikdash. Cohn Sheshimish Betuma. You have a Cohn who performed the Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. Let's say the Shechita, whatever, Zrika in the Beis Hamikdash, and he was Tameh. He went to Levaya and he decided to go to the Beis Hamikdash. Does he get the death penalty in Mishamayim? So to remind the Olam today, anytime it says on the Amud, on the Daf, Misa is referring to a different type of Misa than we're used to. This is Misa b'dei Shamayim. It's a death from heaven. So this Kohen, does he get the death penalty in Shamayim? Is he one day going to walk? He was supposed to live to 120, and Hakadosh Baruch Hu chopped him down when he's 80. Omer Leiti Nisua. We learned in the Mishnah, Kohen sheshimish betuma, ein echav hakohanim meviin oisay lebezin. Says that if a Kohen performed that when he's tamei, his Kohanim brothers don't bring him to bezin. Ella they take him outside of the azara. Why? You don't want to do this in the azara because it's going to create Tumah in the azar. What do? You split open his brain, begizrin, with clubs. The Rugged Shavah says, because you don't want to, if you have like a sword or something, you're going to stab him with a sword, you become Tameh. You don't want to become Tameh. It's hands-free, death hands-free, like with a wooden stick. You do it from a distance. We're not going to demonstrate today. Ask the Gemara, if it's true what you're saying, that you get Misa from Hashem, let Hashem take care of it. What are you so busy with taking care of Hashem's business? Let Hashem knows how to do it and when to do it. Elamai, ain't chayiv. So what are you telling me? He's not chayiv at all? Is there anything that the Torah says you're not chayiv Misa, and us human beings can go and kill him? What's this whole thing that kanoim poigim boy that we spoke about yesterday? It's really, in fact, it's halacha l'moshe Messinai. This idea of kanoim poigim boy. So the Gemara says, how could it be? Hashem says you're not chayiv Misa, and you human being decide to kill him. V'lo, wait a minute. What about everything we learned? V'snan, it says in the Mishnah, Misha lakav Shana, somebody who received 2 malchus and then he sinned for the 3rd time. They put him into some sort of pipe and let him die over there. You give him some barley, blow him up. The Torah says he's potter, and we're going to do something different. We're going to kill him. Well, we already explained yesterday. We're talking about a guy that did an avera that you deserve kares, which is death, and he did it 3 times. The Gaver Baktalahu, he's a dead man walking, so that kind of person you kill. Remember, if you steal the clay sharis from the Beis Hamikdash, and we spoke about the half tubes that are in the lechem upon him. What's kasva? He stole the clay sharis, and therefore you kill him. And there's a hint in the Torah. We learned the word kevala differently than usual. Kevala means to steal. Then you die if you steal this clay kodesh. Okay. What about the makalas hakoisim? A person curses through a magic, and he curses Hashem. Because he said that he's cursing the Rebbeinu Shalom through the magician. It looks like a guy saying Yaki Yosi is Yosi, like he's cursing Hashem. What about a person that has relations with a guy? That already, we had a pasuk yesterday. And the pasuk over there says, Yachris Hashem lo ish. You get karas. That's the pasuk that the Rav Kahana said over to Rav, and Rav said, oh yeah, now remember the halacha. V'atkir Rav Gemara. Esvei. Question. So there are a lot of words here. There are a lot of things and a lot of pictures. So let me just read it quickly, and we'll go back one by one. Esvei. These are avodas that are not the end. There's an end avoda. For instance, the zrikas adam. It's the last thing you do from the 4 avodas. The shchita, kabbalah, hilacha, zrika. You take the blood, you sprinkle it. That we're not talking about. There's taking the mincha, the flour, with your hand. That's step 1. That's not the end. You take it, you go, you do tnufa, the whole thing, then you put it on the mizbech. Oh, that's the end. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the middle ones. What are the middle ones? Hayoytzek v'haboilo v'hapoises v'hamuleach hamenif hamagish hamsadis hashulchan hametiv hanoyres v'hakoymes v'hakamodom b'chutz. You do all of these, you perform all of these avodas outside of the Beis Hamikdash, potter. You're potter. Vein chayovim aleim. Why? Because if you do the end avodah outside of the Beis Hamikdash, then you chayav misa. But the middle one not. Vein chayovim aleim lo mishum zaros. And if you're a Yisrael that performs the middle one, you're not going to get misa. V'lo mishum tuma. You're not going to get misa if you're inside the Beis Hamikdash and you are tamei. Why? Because it's a middle avodah. And not if you don't have the clothing of the kohen. Everything I'm going to explain in more detail. We're going to go back. I just want to get to the question. And not for you forgot to wash your hands and your feet. So the Gemara infers from here, if you take the mincha and you put it on the mizbech, when you are tamei, you're chayiv. My lav misa. Oh, that's a kasha. We just said you're not chayiv misa. Oh, loy bazar. It's not talking about misa. It's talking about just getting a lav and you get malchus. So it's not a kasha. So now let's go back. 2 lines from the bottom. Eisvei hayoytzik. Hayoytzik is to take oil. Here we go. You pour the oil on the silas, the flour. V'haboilel. Here's a guy that is mixing the oil with the beautiful. He's mixing it with the flour. V'hapoises. Then you take the mincha and you break it up. You break it down. You break up pieces from the mincha. Hamirleach. You take the meat of a carbon and you pour the salt on it. So all these are middle avodas. You don't get misa for this. Hameinif. What's meinif? As we said, we learned from here on Sukkos. You take your lulav and we go like this. If you're Ashkenaz, you go like that. You're Sephardi, you go this way. But the point is that the kohen used to assist the saita, used to put his hands under her hands, either touching or next to, and they used to do this whole backwards, forwards, up, down, right, left, down. In those days, the animation was a little different. Hamagish. You take, let's say, the flour of the mincha, and you bring it to the mizbeach. Rabbi Sai, what corner of the mizbeach do we bring it to? How do you remember that? Southwest. That's how people remember. Southwest corner. I'll just tell you real quickly because we have a lot of time. What is so special about Southwest? They always rank. There's 387 airlines in the United States, but only they figure it out. Only they. First of all, be nice. Be a little different. They're a little quirky. Like their announcements of their seatbelt is always with a geschmack. They always like make a joke. This. Basically, you could sit wherever you want. Most of the time, they don't charge for luggage. They figured out that they only have one type of plane, a 737. They don't have 747s. They don't have anything. They don't have Airbuses. They have Boeing 737s, as you can see in this picture. They always have parts, and every pilot can fly any plane. You don't have to have different ratings for different planes. To fly 747s, a whole nother, right? Gil, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, different type. You can't fly one of these yet. It'll take you a few weeks of courses and this and that. So, like this, everybody. Okay, I just thought I'd tell you. Why not? It's very to get to the sugya. No. My point is, if the CEO thinks to himself, hey, how do I differentiate myself? I have the same thing. We fly from point A to point B. But how could I be number one? Outdo United and American and all the greatest guys. We'll be number one. Think a little bit. There's ways to do it. To how to please the oilam. Get them into it. This is the lechem upon him. Oh, here. Do we do this here? This is old. This is mamish. People ask me all the time, are you going to continue doing the daf after brachas? Yes. Why? Because the technology that we had 3 months ago is not the technology we have today. This is what we had 2 years ago. And this probably took 2 days for Yoshi to get from here to there. Today, it's more vivid, it's more interactive, it's a whole different world. And then this was moving. This was a chiddush gadol for us. We didn't have the moving thing. We just had me holding a piece of paper. It's wet. Oh, the shulchan, sorry. This is the shulchan. Putting the lechem upon him on the shulchan. Taking out with the little mazleg, the little fork, beautiful picture of him taking out the wicks. Va'koymetz here, this might not be accurate. Koymetz is usually this way, and taking that amount of, that part is okay, and taking that. Va'mekabel david b'chutz potter, check this out. This is incredible. Yoshi took the picture from Kol HaShon, which we have permission, and he upgraded it in AI. Look what AI could do. I mean, you saw this, but this is not our picture. This is AI, and then they start moving. Okay, so the blood is a shtickle going that way, but it's pouring into the animal instead of the animal. You get the idea. The blood comes out of the animal, goes into this clay sharis, the golden clay. Bachotz potter. Why? Because you need a gemar melacha. The mekabel the dam is in the middle of the melachas. So these kind of things, taking away the bezichin, let's say, I don't know if we have a picture of bezichin, but on the frankincense is 2 spoons. It might be here. No, it's not here. Not in this picture. 2 spoons full of frankincense on the lechem upon him, removing that, doing the kmitza to the mincha. You're not chayiv for zaris. If you're a Yisrael, you do it. You don't get misa if you perform the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash to avodah that's not the finishing product. It's a middle one. So we know the Kohen Gadol wears the Shmoyne begadim, the regular Kohen wears the 4. If you're missing any part, you don't have your hat, you don't have the belt, Margit Chaim, people say, oh, you're talking against yeshivas. I'm just saying over Chavetz Chaim. He says that if somebody learns a sugya really, really well for a very, very, very long time, and he knows it inside out, backside, forwards, it reminds the Chavetz Chaim of somebody wearing a hat and nothing else, walking down the street with nothing else, just a hat. He says you're missing the width and the breadth of the Torah. There's so much to it. You picked one thing, okay, so you have a hat on. Oh, this also, I love this picture. Check this out also from Kol HaShon. Just the added motion in this picture. It's crazy. To me, it changes the whole thing. But anyway, they would wash their feet and their hands, and if you don't do it, you're not over. The Gemara infers from it, but if you do the final avodah, which is take that mincha in your hand and put it on the mizbeach, that's the final move. Chayav, you should be chayav misa. My lav misa. Loi ba'azara. It's only talking about a lav, and you get malchus. So the Gemara says, Azar nami la'azara. Azar, a Yisrael who performs avodah, you tell me he also gets malchus, not misa. V'ksiv azar akarv. You must. And if the zar gets misa, so to tuma you should get misa. And that would be kasha on Rav Sheshes, who says you don't get. He proves from our Mishnah you don't get misa. If a zar gets misa, so tuma gets misa. He says no. How could this? You're right. A zar who performs the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash gets misa. You perform the avodah. A kohen who performs the avodah when he's tummy does not get misa. Who told you that one is connected to the other? The things that we mentioned before in the list. Lav nami loy. You don't even get the lav. A tamei. If you're tamei, you get a lav. If you're a zar, you get misa. But if you did the other stuff, you don't get anything. It says Mefurish in the Brisa. How do you know that you get malchus? Hazara. What's hazara? You get a lav. Liyoitzik, ubaylo, to pouring the oil, to mixing the oil. Is the Mefurish a pasuk? No. Midrabanan. It's not a pasuk in the Torah. It is a pasuk in the Torah, but you used it not to tell you that it's a deraisa. You used it as ukros machta ba'alma, just as a hint to your rabbinic halacha, I should say. Rabbana made this halacha up. They have the leaning on a pasuk from the Torah. It's not a real deraisa. What do I do? It says Mefurish in the Mishnah. These are those who get misa. What does misa mean? Rabbi say again, misa b'dei shomayim. Tamei sheshimish. Mefurish. Somebody who's tamei and performed that avodah. to Yufta. So it's a good kasha on Rav Sheshes who says you don't get Misa. Rabbi Isai, this sugya, everything, every word we're going to mention here, the Gemara is going to tell us the source. So it's more of a limud sugya, but between the lines we have many gewaldige halachas that are important for us to refresh our memories and learn it from new. Ve'elu shebemisa. These are people that get the death penalty b'dei shomayim. Ha'oichel es hatevel. We know that every time you have fruit, guy told me a ma'aser shahaya, he saw some, teenager take fruit off his tree, had a nice fruit tree in his backyard. Kid came and he says, "Excuse me, what are you doing? This is private." He says, "I got permission from the owner." Now he's the owner, he didn't get permission. So he tells him, "Yeah, but you can't eat it. It's tevel. It could be issa deraisa." He says, I took enough ma'aser." It could be a deraisa. You know what I'm saying? You take fruit off a tree and you don't give the truma to the kohen. Some Rishonim say even the ma'aser, but certainly the truma and the trumas ma'aser. What?
Until you bring it to the garden. You're not until you bring it to the garden.
He wasn't tachlis. He was walking down the street. I don't know. Okay. The kohen tami she'achal truma tahira. Oh, we have givaldik. I like this picture. Rabbi said this is what it's supposed to look like when you take truma. Like these are good guys. They have sandals on. But this is what it looks like. Unfortunately, it's Nervayim. This is what it looks like. Gym shoes. These guys are bad. These are tevel. These are mamish issa deraisa to eat. So yesterday the Belzer, I don't know if he was serious. I hope he wasn't, but I heard he was. In other words, the Chassidim last night told me that it's a thing. We were talking about that it's not called off the derech anymore. It's not called nosher, because nosher means like a fruit fell off the tree. It's a goner. No, it's called mitmoded. He's dealing with it. How do you say mitmoded? It's struggling. It's a struggling.
On the shoulder.
He's a struggling teenager. So here I said that we were talking about struggling teenagers. I said, what does it mean? So he says, you know what struggling is by us in our community? I said, no, Ramat Shemesh might have the highest numbers. He says, not true. In our community, we have just as many. And he says like this, you know how many people in our community have shoes that end with a point? I'm like, what? And he says, yeah. And they have gel in their hair. They have gel in their hair. You know how many of these bachrim we have? I'm like, you're being serious? He says, by us, that means they're up to no good. No good. So I thought this picture is Margit, it does show that these boys, Lo Yaleinu, the Shkotzim, V'Ramasim, they have the gym shoes.
They're not pointy.
They're not pointy, but they don't have the sandals. You're supposed to have sandals in those days, and these guys are mamish. T-shirts, okay, anyway. V'koyin, he asked me not to say it over in shir, so I won't. V'koyin tamei she'achal truma tahira. V'koyin tamei she'achal truma tahira, and a koyin who's tamei. Now, read the words with me. If you're a koyin tamei, they eat truma that's tahar. What if the truma is tamei? Yoiver? No. It says mefurish. Koyin tamei she'achal truma tahira. The Gemara is going to infer that if it's tamei, you're not over like that. You don't get misa. It's aser. It might be aser, but not misa. V'zar she'achal sa truma. Any Yisrael who goes ahead and eats truma that was separated for the koyin, misa v'dei shomayim. V'zar sheshimesh Yisrael says it's not fair that the kohen do all that that I want to do. He jumps in a big tzaddik. He does it before misa. V'tamei sheshimesh, and if you tamei and you do that avodah. Utvul yoyim sheshimesh. Let me just show you real quickly. There's so many concepts here, so I don't know how we're going to do this, but this is very important. A woman who gives birth. Let's go through the list. Rabbi Isai, who could become a tful yoyim? Actually, this is something else. This is not tful yoyim. I messed up. Tful yoyim is somebody who is tamei, goes to the mikvah. Let's say he goes to the mikvah in the afternoon. He's not completely tar until nighttime, until after shkia. So at that point, let's get this off the screen. At that point, he is a tful yoyim. The mikvah removed some of his tumah, but not all of it. If he's that kind of guy, a kohen that went to the mikvah and he decides to go into the Beis Hamikdash, he's chayav misa b'dei shamayim. Umechuzah regadim if he doesn't have all the begadim on. Umechuzah kapara. Oh, this is the one I wanted to show you. Chuzah kapara. So mechuzah kapara is somebody that has to bring, not only go to the mikvah, he also has to bring a carbon. Depends, right? Most of the times. So who has to bring a carbon after the tefillah? So we have a mitzayra. What else? Zav and a zava. What else? Yoledes. Nazir. Mitzayra. Did I say mitzayra? Nazir? Yeah, Nazir does it. Okay. So, let's just say this. This is a good example. A woman gives birth to a male, a zachar. So she's tummy for 7 days. Then she goes to the mikvah. At that point, what does she after she goes to the mikvah? She becomes tar to her husband for 33 days, no matter what happens. Tar. But she still is mechusar kippurim. She did not bring her carbon until when? Day 40. At day 40, she's allowed to bring the carbon. Up until that point, she's a mechusar kippurim. She's still missing some of her kapara. She's still somewhat tummy. And as she does, so we're talking about a man here. If he's a zav who did not bring his carbon the following day, he went to the mikveh, everything was great. He even had a hair of shemas after shkia, and he went to perform the avodah, chayim yisrael. He didn't wash his hands and his feet with the kiyar. People who drink, what's the get to us? Very, very important. I think everybody knows this halacha, but we're not so makbid on it. I'm not sure why. Do not go to shul and daven mincha when you are tipsy. It's mamish aser. Skip Ma'ariv. This year probably is more like Ma'ariv than mincha. Especially we're doing well, the Hebrew shir is at 11:30 in the morning, and then whoever wants to eat afterwards, whatever. But it says even if you're not 100% drunk, you shouldn't daven like that. You know those guys that they come, they daven in Milshman Esrei, they start walking around Milshman Esrei and they scream, hey! They think they geschmack. That's a shtickle aser. Ubri Rosh, you Litvak, now you're not allowed to eat Toyamel also. Of course, it's the whole fun of Purim. Yeah, ruin everything. Ubri Rosh, the Cohn who doesn't take a haircut for 30 days, it doesn't mean somebody that is not wearing a yarmulke. Aval Ariel. In some Gemaras it says Aval, but it means Aval. Aval Ariel va'oinen v'yoshev. A guy who doesn't have a bris milah, meaning he's not, even if he's not allowed to have a bris milah because his brothers died from it, he has good reason. Not allowed. By the way, I thought it's Murray the Gevart. How many times do people wash their hands after they come out of the bathroom, the restroom? So some people wash 6 times, some people wash 1, some people just wash with soap, whatever. So it's a machlokes, it's 1 or 6. So Rav Scheinberg in his yeshiva, this is what I heard. When he saw a bacher washing 6 times, he says, do your chumras on your own account, not on the yeshiva's account. This is the yeshiva's money. This water, especially in Israel, costs a lot of money, water. So yes, I am very makbid on rogalach, but water you could do. I let you do 6 times. If you don't, that I'm okay with. V'yoshev, you're not allowed to sit performing the avodah. So from here we also learn you're not allowed to sit. Oinen is very, very important. The day right before, here, let me give you a ma'isa shaya. A guy's on a plane, he sees a guy with a beard and payas, taking a sandwich out of his thing and eating it. Didn't make a bracha. He took a bite. The guy's mishuga. And then afterwards, he says everybody's davening, he doesn't do it. Then he realized when he came off the plane, he saw people crying and this and that. He realized this guy's an oinen. You got to be melamed schos. Oinen. So you can't, if you're an oinen, the person, one of the 7 relatives died, and you perform the avodah, misa. V'yoshev, and he sits in the Beis Hamikdash. That's why you have to stand during Shmoneh Esrei. Anything that's tefillah, the tefillah part, the Shmoneh Esrei part, you have to stand. Einam b'misa elo b'azor. These things, the avodah is possible. You perform the avodah, it's no good, but you don't get misa. You just get a hazara, you get a lav. Baal mum, person has a mum, one of the mumim. Rebbe Yomer b'misa chamar b'azara machloikis. Hazed b'miila, you use something from the Beis Hamikdash. Rebbe Yomer b'misa, you get death. V'chamar b'azara, it's only a lav. Ha'eichel is tevel. Minolan, and now we're going to go into every single one. How do you know that if you eat fruit that wasn't separated truma and meiser, or at least truma and trumas meiser, you get the death penalty b'dei shumayim? Minolan domer Shmuel, Mishum Rebbe Lezer. Minayin lo eichel is tevel. Shuv b'misa. D'chsiv lo yichalu is kotshei b'nei Yisrael is asher yirim l'Hashem. But the pasuk is talking about basidim l'trim, what you're about to. In other words, the fruit right now is tevel. Hakosim medaber. V'yoliv chilul mitruma. I learned tevel from where? From truma. Mala alam b'misa. If you eat truma when you are tummy, you get the death penalty. Afkan b'misa, so too tevel. Untight fruit is b'misa. V'nelev chilul minoisar. So let me just show you real quick. I did a quick chart here, so excuse my art. Tevel, it's small. Sorry that it's small. I didn't have time to. Tevel is what we are learning. That if you have fruit that wasn't, I'm going to learn it from the right side from truma. Ask the Gemara, maybe I should learn it from the left side. So the Gemara's answer is obvious. It's 7 against 2. So let's leave that on the thing for a second. Ma lahalam bekaris afkam bekaris. So this is important to pay attention to. Mendy, did you pay attention to this when you learned this yesterday? The Gemara asks, why are you learning from Truma, learning from Noiser? What's the difference? What do I care? Because Noiser gets karis. And Truma gets Misa B'dei Shamayim. What is the difference? Who cares? They both, you die. What's the difference? No? Good. What do you say? You got to think about these things. The Gemara says, karis is worse than Misa. Misa means that Kosh Baruch Hu will knock you out. Karis will take away your children also, Chas v'shalom. Ariri. Okay, we're not going to go there. Ariri, let's just call it Ariri. The Gemara says, I want to learn from Nice. It's much stronger. So the Gemara, I like to learn from the right side because it's more things. Shekain Truma, both Tevel and Truma are actually Truma. We're talking about a Truma thing. You didn't perform. Chutz La'aretz. Noisar, you could do Noisar and what's Noisar? Noisar means that you left over, you're supposed to eat this animal, this carbon, within 2 days, and you left it over 3-4 days, and then you're eating it. That's the Raisa called Noisar. That could apply even Chutz La'aretz. House is Rashi. Let's say a guy has a bama. Let's just see the bama because I love the bama picture. A guy has a fancy house in Jackson, and he has a nice Tesla, and he has the court. Don't look at what happens to the Tesla, and then and he has a little car. The famous. I love saying this over. I love it. Ask yourself, what would happen? And I remember Greenberg came over to me afterwards. He said a Maisa Shaya happened to him. He was in Ar Sameach, and they came over. The Reshivas and the Shama should have an Aliyah. They came over to a guy in Yeshiva, said, by the way, you're not Jewish. We found out your mother is not Shalom. The guy said, oh yeah? They never saw him again. Never. He closes Gemara. What would you do if you found out you're a guy? So Shimshon Pinkos always says, I would bring a carbon on a bama. Then I would become a ger. And Eli Stefansky says, I love this. You're going to love it. I, Be'ez Hashem, will learn during Chazar Sashatz.
During college.
During Chazar Shatz. Maybe I'll speak during, that I can't do. But I'll learn during Chazar Shatz. I have the taiva to learn. Like I got to prepare a little bit too, you know? A couple minutes here, it's chaparine. Says the Gemara, Mistaver B'trum Avalei L'Melech. Shketrum Chutz La'aretz. Hutra. Neisar has no heter. Here, let's go back to this, sorry. Yeah, what would you do? Some people drink Coca-Cola with the wrong hechsher, whatever. Different things. Everybody, think about what you would do. Some people put on the right shoe before the left, tie the right before the left, whatever, any shtick you could do. No, nobody can come close to mine. Learning during Chazar Hashat. Huh? Pointy shoes with gel for 1 day, Rabbi Zai. Live on the edge. Live on the edge. Skip the emails. Dr. Gemara. Hutra. Yeah, Tevel and Truma both, you could do something. If you're Tameh, you go to the mikvah. If you didn't take Truma, take Truma. There's a way out of it. Berabim. Oh, so this is very important. So here, if you look closely, turn green again. Doesn't matter. The two top ones are plural. The bottom one is singular. So if I want to learn Xer Shava from one to the other, I'm going to do what's closer in the wording. The wording of Tevel and Truma are similar. Peiros, they're both on fruit, whereas Noisar is what? Anybody? What's Noisar? Meat. Pigul, the idea of it, you could think about it in your head, and it goes weiter and Noisar. Fine. So that's 7. And the Gemara says, Adarabba, this is a classic Gemara. Adarabba, learn from Noisar and they get kares. Shekain, Pasul, Psuloichav, sorry. It's Noisar and Tevel is in the food, the meat and the fruit. Is Tevel. But when you're Tameh and eating fruit, that's in the body of the person. It's not in the fruit itself, in the food itself. Ein lo heter b'mikvah. Somebody who's Tameh could go to the mikvah, but these other things, you can't put Tevel in a mikvah and say you're allowed to eat it. 7 against 2, Givaldik. Rabbi Noah Chilul, the Rabbim, Mechilul, the Rabbim Adif. I want to learn the Xer Shav from similar words, like I showed you before. Lechalu, here we go. Oh, thank you, Gershon. You removed the thing. Givaldik. V'koyin, Tameh, Shachal, Truma. Minolon. How do you know the guy is Tameh that he's Truma? How do you know? And he ate Truma Tahira. How do you know that Yechiel Misa? Minolon, Dama Shmuel. Menayin, the koyin, Tameh, Shachal, Truma Tahira, Shu, B'mis, V'dei Shomayim. How do I know you get Misa? The Chsiv, V'shomer is Mishmarti, V'le'yisul of Chet. And the end of the pasuk is, it's very important, Umesu boy, Kichalu, you get the death penalty. Anytime it says V'goymer, you better look up that pasuk. But in those days they knew it, so it was no need. Tahira in Tamei Eloi, it seems like only if he performs the avodah when he's Tamei with Tar Truma. But if the Truma is Tamei, you don't get the penalty. Dam Shmuel Amar Belezer, Menayin Lekoyin Tamei Shachal Truma Tameo She'ein Ben Misa. You don't get the Misa for that. Shenemar Obeizu Boy Ki Chalu. You're going to defile that fruit. Prat Lezushim Chalaz Boy Medes. Pei Gimel on Beis. If the fruit is already defiled, it's already Tamei, yes, it's also for you to do, but you don't get the penalty. Turning in the daf for Adar. Adar Global, experts in international financial services, Dr. Allen and Barbara Listhouse, and married my dear father Joseph Listhouse on his 45th yard side, Yosef Ben Chaya Sara, and Lurfus Rivka Henyo Bas Shalamis, Lurfus Latino Gicheski, Yedid Ben Nechama Sheindel, Mad Life Realty Bet Shemesh, and Moshe Einhorn in honor of Reb Eli and the Torah MDY family, Rabbi Side. Two very, very important things. Don't forget to send in your application to info at mdyeshiva.com, or you can just send it to the regular email address. And also, if you are voting for this Zionist organization, which many, many people are, and you're going to hear a lot of, there's going to be a lot of people going to be calling you and asking you, please do it through Eretz HaKodesh, and it will help MDY tremendously, especially if you take a screenshot and you do it through this QR code. You're sure Kayach Gadol Ma'oid, and if you want to hear more about it and you skip the emails, go to the email section. And if you want to read about it, in Mishpacha magazine, it explains you the whole thing, how the Gdolim are for it, and all the stuff, 6 pages. Vizar she'achal es hatruma. Mishpacha, Ami, says the Gemara, Vizar she'achal es hatruma. A Yisrael who goes into the Beis HaMikdash and he eats truma, Omer Rav. Zar she'achal es hatruma, loike, he gets malchus. Amrli Rav Kahana v'Ravasi l'Ravs, they said to Rav, Lema mar b'misa, why not? You should get misa b'dei shamayim, not malchus. D'chsiv v'chol zar lo yochal kodesh ani Hashem. Here, look at this pasuk. No, you're right. That's the answer. Here, this is the pasuk. It says v'chol zar lo yochal kodesh. What does it mean? So you need this chart because pasuk test says umeisu. Umeisu v'chol zar lo yochal kodesh. You get the death penalty if you're Yisrael. What's the Gemara's answer? Now it's very understood. Ani Hashem ekacham hivzik inyan. Look what it says in the middle line in blue. Ani Hashem ekacham. It separates the word umesu from the zar. It's something different. It says in a brisa, these are the people that get the death penalty. Why does Rav say you get malchus and not the death penalty? It says first in the brisa you get the death penalty. Zar oichas hatruma. It says you get the death penalty if you're Yisrael and you eat truma. It says Gemara Maslisa not the Rav Karamas. You're going to ask a question on Rav. Rav Tanu Upalik. We know Rav is the last Tana, the first Amoira. He has the ability to argue in a brisa. V'zar sheshimesh and Yisrael who did avoid the dechsiv v'hazar akarev yumas, you get the death penalty. V'tamei sheshimesh, if he's a kain who's tamei and he performs the avoid, he gets the death penalty. Mishamai. K'dabay minei Rav Chir bar Rav and Rav Yosef. Minayin l'tamei sheshimesh hu b'misa. How do you know that he gets misa? Dechsiv daber b'nei el Aram vel banov v'yinazru. Here, remember this. V'yinazru mikachi b'nei Yisrael v'leichalu shem kachi. Okay, so it says the word v'yinazru, and it says v'yolav chilu chilu with truma, like we said before. Mal alam b'miso, we said truma, kainus tamei, who eats truma gets miso. We spoke about it a lot on Amud Aleph. Afkan b'miso, so too, if you perform the avodah, not eating truma, if you perform the avodah, you get miso. Ask the Gemara once again. V'neilaf chilul menoisar. Here, check this out. It's the same thing. What's the difference between the two? Now, both sides are equal amounts. You can't answer the answer that we said before. Oh, it's 7 against 2. Now it's 4 against 4. What's in the middle? A person who's tamei. Where we're learning it? From the right side, from Truma. Ask the Gemara, learn it from the left side. What's the difference? The left side is Kares, the right side is Misadei Shomayim. What's the difference, Mandy, between Kares and Misadei? This is Ariri. You don't have, it kills the kids also. Malal Kares, Avkan Kares. It's more Chomer. Guf. It's the actual body of the kohen. Tamei. Mikvah, there's a tahara through mikvah. Barabim, we saw the psukim. Chil, it's the same lashon of chilul. Other Rabbi Noisar Avlei Mela. You should learn from Noisar. Shekain, kodesh. Shrum is not kodesh. Pnim. It's inside the Beis Hamikdash. Pigul. You can think about it in your mind. Noisar, leave it over. Says Gemara. Chil the Rabbi Adif. Let me just find the pasuk for a second so that Gershon did a wonderful job. Change it back. The two blues are better than to learn a blue from a red, because the red is singular, chalal, and we want to learn yichalalu, which is plural, yichalalu, plural. It's a better way of learning. Tvul yom sheshimesh, a guy who went to the mikvah, but it's not shkia yet, he's still semi-tomei. Minolan, how do you know he's chayiv misa the san yerib semi yoymer? Remez l'tvul yom shim avad. If he performed that avodah, chilel minayin, the performance of the avodah is like, let's say you shecht an animal, it's gone. It's mechulel, right? I don't know shechting, but let's say another avodah. If you don't need it for the tummy, why? I pointed out when I scream out, Vinazru. The nafkalam Vinazru from the word Vinazru. I don't know what to do with this puzzle. So let's learn it for the Tful Yom. Like we mentioned at least twice, that we can learn from Truma. If you eat Truma when your tummy, you get the death penalty of Khan B'misa. How do you know if you're missing a coin, you're missing one of the begodim, how do you know you get the death penalty? They said the name of where you have the Shmoyne begodim, the Chassidim like to say, we wear Shmoyne begodim. And if you don't have the beged, oy vavoy. As long as, if they're not wearing their begadim, they don't have kahuna of abu zarim, they're considered like a zar, like a Yisrael. We learned already. Zar sheshimesh b'misa. Should we stop over here? We could stop over here. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.